Now, we're all about making money here at the Moneyball Method, but not because money has any intrinsic value. It does not. The value of money is its objective value. And the Moneyball Method answers the question, to make money for what? This reminded me to build a lifestyle is to create. It may be found in a landscape filled with extraordinary light, or a still life celebrating the beauty of everyday objects, maybe a figure expressing grace, strength, beauty, or sensuality. It could be a narrative painting suggesting a meaningful human story, or a portrait revealing character and individuality. But what matters is not whether an artwork fits neatly into a category. What matters is the experience that it creates. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Moneyball Method Podcast. This is your host, Mark Shupe, the author of the Moneyball Method, a Middle-Class Manifesto for objective investing. And if you've been tuning in recently, you may recall that 3 weeks ago I discussed mind, body, and spirit in terms of physical and financial fitness. 2 weeks ago, I discussed mind, body, and spirit in the context of grandmaster level professional chess. And last week, I compared the artificial means of weight loss, drugs, and the psychological effects of the imposter syndrome. However, today I will discuss mind, body, and spirit in terms of the emotional reinforcement of fine art. And that begins with the introspection part. You may remember the concluding quote from a week ago, as one of my coaches had told me spontaneously, what lifestyle am I trying to create? What are my goals? What do I love to do? I'm not striving just to strive and collect money. I want to build a lifestyle, not a gold mine. Now, we're all about making money here at the Moneyball Method, but not because money has any intrinsic value. It does not. The value of money is its objective value. And the Moneyball Method answers the question, to make money for what? This reminded me to build a lifestyle is to create. To do that well is not unlike creating a work of art. To choose aspects of reality that you would like to possess or experience, or to turn your vision into reality, and that is what I'd like to talk about today. But how are your values and goals like a work of art? According to Linda Cordair of Quint Cordair Fine Art, there are several ways that fine art can reinforce and confirm your goals and aspirations. The first category is art that can lift your spirits. To quote Linda, there is no single subject, medium, or artistic style that defines uplifting art. It may be found in a landscape filled with extraordinary light, or a still life celebrating the beauty of everyday objects. Maybe a figure expressing grace, strength, beauty, or sensuality. It could be a narrative painting suggesting a meaningful human story, or a portrait revealing character and individuality. It could be a sculpture capturing movement, freedom, or connection, or a heroic work celebrating courage and achievement. It even could be an architectural or technological subject honoring human ingenuity, or a space-inspired work expressing wonder, exploration, possibility. But what matters is not whether an artwork fits neatly into a category. What matters is the experience that it creates. For me, that spirit-lifting work of art, and the first piece I acquired from Cordair Studios, was Lady Justice, a painting by Brian Larson. I noticed it in their traveling studio at the Objectivist Conference in Cleveland, Ohio, several years ago. It was the graceful figure of strength and beauty, clothed in Roman-style robe, blindfolded, holding the scales of justice, standing tall and strong, and poised for a glowing future. As Linda stated, it can celebrate love, aspiration, courage, serenity, human achievement, or the simple pleasure of seeing something extraordinary rendered with skill and imagination. The next category is narrative art. These are images that tell a story. And as Linda tells us, narrative art depicts recognizable people, places, objects, or scenes from the visible world. It's that recognition that gives the artist a powerful language for storytelling through figures, setting, gesture, action, symbolism, or implied events. It invites us to consider not only what we are seeing, but what is happening and why it matters. We live in perhaps the most image-saturated period in human history. Every day we encounter photographs, videos, advertisements, films, and thousands of rapidly passing digital images. A meaningful work of art asks something increasingly rare of us: to stay. A painting does not disappear after a few seconds. The sculpture does not scroll out of sight. We can return to it. And when a work contains a compelling narrative, returning can reveal something we did not see before. A subtle expression, or an unexpected relationship, a symbolic detail, or an ambiguity that changes our understanding of the story. But we bring something new to each encounter as well, our own experiences, memories, and perspectives. The artwork has not changed, we have. For me, Johannes Vermeer's The Geographer is intriguing because this was the age of exploration and the Dutch Golden Age. But more important, it is the active mind of the subject who is exploring astronomy, mathematics, navigation, and philosophy, all in stark contrast to today's culture of apathy and victimhood. And when I looked at The Geographer yesterday, I asked myself, what is he looking at? What did he discover? Is there something outside that window? Is there something in his imagination? What integration did he make? It could be any form of subconscious genius. Linda concludes, they tell stories of love and relationships, exploration and discovery, science and technology, personal transformation, mythology and imagination, courage, beauty, struggle, aspiration, and human achievement. That is a summary of narrative art. But lastly for today, there is heroic art. And according to Linda, heroic art gives visible form to qualities we admire in human beings: courage, purpose, perseverance, creative vision, independence, and the determination to achieve something of value. A heroic work may celebrate the courage to act despite fear or uncertainty, the discipline required to master a craft, the independence to pursue an original vision. That is the Moneyball Method's sitemap. The intelligence that turns an idea into reality. That is the Moneyball Method's conversion to dreams, dollars, and deadlines. The ambition to build, invent, discover, or explore. That is the Moneyball Method's entrepreneurial mindset. The integrity to remain true to deeply held values. The joy of reaching a hard-earned goal. For me, the narrative art was Washington Crossing the Delaware by German-American painter Emanuel Leutze. And I learned what the painting really meant while attending the Freedom Fest conference in Las Vegas several years ago. I asked myself, who were those men in the boats? Why was there bright light if the scene was pitch dark, midnight, middle of the night? And most critically, what if Washington's Christmas Day mission had failed? We would not be speaking with each other today. But what does this have to do with investment and objective investing? A lot. What lifts you up? What is your narrative? How do we become our own heroes? It begins with introspection, then creating the vision and transferring those goals and aspirations into concrete objectives. Like art, the deliberate selection of those aspects of reality will help give our lives its meaning and purpose. And that concludes my series on mind, body, and spirit. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found this informative and entertaining. Please like, follow, and share, and I look forward to seeing you next week.